Hey everyone, welcome back to K-Korner, the channel where we dive into the wild world of entitled people and their unbelievable stories. Hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's go. Let's start with some backstory. I am a 6 foot 3 inches male, a little on the cubby side, 350 pounds, but I do not look like it. I work at a place that is a sister company that rhymes with tall blart. We wear very similar colored vests, but as you might have guessed, with different logos. I was also wearing black shorts and a silver hat, with a nice dark blue polo shirt. One fateful night, as I'm just getting off of work about 9:30 p.m., my girlfriend calls me to tell me that we are out of milk and some other items. But I only remember leaving with the milk. As I pulled into a parking spot and got out of my vehicle, I heard a faint, "Excuse me, sir?" Not thinking it was pointed in my direction, I thought nothing of it. Mistake number 1. Halfway towards the entrance door, I realized that I didn't take off my vest from work. Mistake number 2. So I quickly turned around and put the vest in my truck, this time hearing a more noticeable, more agitated, "Excuse me, sir?" Once again, I thought nothing of it. Mistake number 3, and entered the store. Fast forward about 10 minutes with the milk in my hand, standing by the flower wall, trying to decide on buying my girlfriend some roses or not before I head out. I would do anything for that woman. I feel a sharp pain in my side and left leg. Cue wicked Karen. I stumbled sideways and almost fell over. Someone rammed me with their cart intentionally. I turned to the person, pissed at this moment. Real quick, I am a very non-confrontational person, and try to avoid any sort of confrontation if possible, and yelled, "What the?" But before I could say another word, she, like most Karens do, cut me off. This lady had the trademark Karen hairdo, long acrylic nails, a designer purse, looked to be in her mid to late 40s, and looked to be about 5 feet 5 inches. Wicked Karen. "I can't believe how incredibly disrespectful and rude you are. I am a paying customer. I called for you to come help me in the parking lot, and you as an employee ignored me. Don't you know who I am? I will have your job for this. Come with me, you piece of crap. We're going to talk with your manager." She then went to grab my arm to try to drag me to the nearest manager. Watching a 5'5" woman try to drag a 6'3" full-grown man like he's a little kid will always make me laugh. But like I said, I was mad. I snatched my arm away from her and yelled back me, "Lady, I don't give a flying rat frick who you think you are, and honestly I don't want to know. I do not work here. Also, what gives you the right to physically assault someone when you don't get what you want, you entitled witch?" Upon hearing the yelling, I heard some running footsteps, and around a corner popped out an employee. "Employee, what's going on here?" Wicked Karen, insert smug smile, here, asterisk. This employee ignored me and physically assaulted me when I tried to ask for some help. "I demand to speak with your manager about getting this man fired." "Me bullturd, lady, that's a lie and you know it. You are the one assaulting people. I never laid a hand on you, and personally I don't want to. You grunt, I don't work here." Employee runs to get the manager. Wicked Karen, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you talk to your mother with that disgusting mouth of yours? Me, not that it's any of your business, as a matter of fact. I do, and she loves me very much. Can't say the same about you though. Not with your attitude. Wicked Karen, insert banshee scream, here, asterisk. You son of a witch, do you know who I am? I will personally make sure you never work in this town again. Me, lady. I thought I already summarized that I do not flippin' care who the hell you are, nor do I want to. You're lucky that I haven't already called the police for assault on you. At this moment, P.E. and M come running around the corner. Manager, what seems to be the problem here? Wicked Karen, I was minding my own business when your employee assaulted me and started yelling and berating me. I want this man fired. M.E. How many times do I have to say it to get it into your entitled thick skull? Read my lips, woman. I do not work here. Me to manager. Sir, she is spreading lies and twisting her story around. She is the one that assaulted me. I lifted my shirt to show the marks that was left by her cart on my side and left calf. Calf had a good bruise. Wicked Karen, ew, no one wants to see your fat body. Put it away now. Oh my God, WHO would love something like that. Yes, this witch resorted to fat shaming me. She went there. I will be proud of what I said next till the day I die. Once again, I have no idea who this woman is, or if she has a daughter or not, but what I said, shut her up. Me then tell your daughter to stop calling me employee manager to employee. Stop it manager to me, sir. I'm going to have to ask you to stop right there before I escort you out of the building. Emmy, sorry, I understand. Manager to wicked Karen. Ma'am, I can assure you that this man does not work for Tall Blart. Wicked Karen, this is unacceptable. I know he works here. I saw your employee get out of his truck with a blue vest on. I want him fired now. Manager, ma'am, once again, he does not work here. I haven't seen him before. Wicked Karen, just to let you know, I will be contacting your corporate office to let them know about this rude employee that you are defending, and what an incompetent manager you are. Manager, please leave the store, ma'am. Wicked Karen scoffs, stomps out of the store. Manager, to Emmy, sir, I do apologize for any inconvenience this must have caused you. Would you like us to call the police so you can file a report against her? To be honest, I seriously did consider pressing charges on her for assault. I was tired and wanted to go home. That, and I didn't want to go through the whole court process. So I let it go, paid for my milk and went home. That wasn't my first Karen encounter, and unfortunately probably won't be the last either. I sincerely hope that I never run into that woman again. Also, the part about the bruise on my leg was more of a mark from where the cart hit me. The bruise didn't show till later. Update. So I never thought that I would have run into wicked Karen again so soon, but I did 2 days ago. Let's begin. It was about 2 p.m., and I was having a okay day, but that quickly changed when I got a call from my supervisor. Hey op, there is an upset customer looking for you. Me, since I deal with this stuff on a daily. All right, send them over. 4 minutes later, the door opened, but I didn't hear it because I had my head in the steel pulling the merchandise forward, when all of a sudden I heard a voice that sent a shiver up my spine. Wicked Karen, why hello op, at least I know your name now. I backed out, turned, and to my horror, there she was. Me, why hello again, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Is there anything I can help you with? Wicked Karen, no op. She kept saying my name slowly like she was going to forget it or something. But I do think that you have a mess to clean up. Me, I'm sorry. What? She grabbed 2 of the nearest bottles and slammed them onto the floor, smashing them, spraying alcohol everywhere. Wicked Karen, I said that you have a mess to clean up. Now clean it up. Like the lowly servant of society that you are. Me, I have had it with this witch. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store. What she did next threw my anger into overdrive and astounded me at the same time. Wicked Karen slaps Emmy, then says, the customer is always right. Now clean this mess up, you son of a witch. Her acrylic nails scratched my cheek, cutting it a little. Looking at her, she had the biggest smile. I was so pissed I was seeing red. Me, as I was walking to the cashier register. No ma'am, in my personal opinion, I would have to disagree that the customer isn't always right. In fact, 95% of the time they are wrong. I have a silent alarm button that calls law enforcement as soon as I press it. Once I had reached the register, I reached down and pressed the button. I stood up, turned around to once again be slapped. Emmy, ow, seriously, Lady Lee. Wicked Karen, I said, clean that mess up or I'm going to get your manager and tell them you threw those bottles at me, you jerk. The only reason why there is a customer service job is so uneducated pieces of crap like you have to serve me. In my mind, I was ready to deck this woman. Now I believe that a man shouldn't ever hit a woman until the second time she's cracked you in the face. I didn't hit her though. Me, pieces of crap like me, huh? Get off your ducking high horse, lady, and spew your entitled attitude towards someone that would like to suck up to you to please you. I looked outside to see that 2 cop cars had pulled up to the store. Me, over the radio to M. Hey M, I have a code brown in the liquor store. I'm going to need you. Manager on the way up. Wicked Karen, what did you do? Why are there cop cars outside? Me, something that I should have done a week and a half ago. Cop 1 and Cop 2 enter the store, followed by Manager. Cop 1, what's going on here? I went to start giving my story, but like all Karens love to do, she cut me off. Wicked Karen, this employee is refusing to serve me. He tried to assault me, but I pushed him off, then he threw these bottles at me. I want him fired. M.E. Seriously, how demented are you? Manager to M.E. This can't be true, right op? Did you really throw those bottles at her? M.E. No, I wicked Karen. Yes, he did. I want this man fired. Need a cop 1, cop 2. Can one of you take the screaming banshee outside, so I can give my statement in peace? Wicked Karen, what did you call me, you son of a witch? This woman had the audacity to slap me a third time in front of 2 police officers. They immediately took action, and while she was kicking and screaming, she knocked over 4 bottles of merchandise, and in the end she was sitting in the back of the police car. When the police officer came back into the store, cop 1, all right, sir, right now we've arrested her for assault on you and assault on a police officer as well as disorderly conduct. Would you like to me? Yes, sir, I would love to press charges, and I am certain that my lovely manager would love to give you the security camera recording of this whole incident. Manager nods in approval. To make a longer story a little shorter, I gave my statement. Cop 1 reviewed the security footage. Now 2 days have passed, and Cop 1 knocked on my door this morning and said that my court date would be towards the end of November. I'll update the story again when the time comes. Update? So all of this happened yesterday. I can honestly say that I feel good. The sense of justice feels good. So I come back to all of you to tell what will hopefully be the finale of this particular story. I had to call out of work for this, and I was ready to never see this woman again. I came fully prepared with solid evidence and statements from multiple people who were in Walmart that fateful night. That and getting this evidence was a hassle. I walked into that courtroom with a suit and tie and sat down where I was told to. Moments later, Wicked Karen walks in with pee on her tail. Wicked Karen sat down in her designated spot and started looking around the room when her eyes landed on me. She glared at me till police officer addressed the court. Police officer, all rise for the Honorable Judge X. Judge sits. You may be seated. I hereby announce that this court is in session. Looks like we have a classic case of assault. Op versus Wicked Karen. Now, is there any evidence of this occurrence? M.E. Yes, Your Honor, with your permission, I would like to present it to the court. Judge nods. Proceed. Op. I handed P the notebook and the flash drive I had brought with me. Police officer passed it to Judge. As Judge reviewed the notebook, he had told police officer to get the projector ready for the flash drive. Once that was finished, we all reviewed the footage, and could clearly see that it was Wicked Karen that assaulted me. After it was done, Jay looked at Wicked Karen and her lawyer. I have a lawyer too, but I didn't add them to the story. Jay, anything on the defensive? Her lawyer was about to say something, but Wicked Karen cut in. Wicked Karen screaming, *, that man sexually assaulted me. Judge, madam, that is a serious claim. Do you have any evidence to prove that Mr. Op is guilty? Wicked Karen, well, no. Judge, I see, then you are overruled. I, Wicked Karen, what do you mean overruled? Do you know WHOIAM? Judge, order. Wicked Karen, I am big company owner's wife. Judge, order in the court. Wicked Karen shuts up. Judge, another outburst like that, madam, and I will not hesitate to give you the maximum sentence. Do you understand me? Wicked Karen nods. Judge, good. Then by the order of the court, I hereby sentence Miss Wicked Karen to 4 years in prison and 2 years probation. Following your sentence in prison, you will take anger management classes, and hereby never allowed to have contact with Mr. Op again. Court dismissed. Victory tastes sweet. First off, my life took a crazy turn when I had an unexpected encounter with none other than our very own office, Queen Bee, Karen. I was at my desk one day, sipping on my coffee, when suddenly, my stomach decided to launch a revolt of its own. I mean, we're talking rumbling, grumbling, and all-around discomfort. I started sweating bullets, and my face probably was beet red. This is no ordinary tummy ache. I shoot a glance towards Karen's office, debating whether I should interrupt her oh-so-important conference call. I gather my courage and make my way there, trying to walk as if nothing is wrong. Hey Karen, I'm really not feeling well. Do you think I could leave early or maybe call for an ambulance? She looks at me like I just asked her to solve world hunger. Oh, come on. You can't be serious. We have that big presentation later, and you want to leave early, just suck it up and get back to work. My stomach rumbles again, this time more violently, and I cringe. Karen, I'm really not exaggerating here. I think I might need immediate medical attention. Karen lets out a sigh and rolls her eyes. You're always making a big deal out of nothing. Fine, if it'll get you to stop bothering me, call an ambulance. But you better not be faking it. With that, I turn and hurry back to my desk. I call for help, explaining my situation as clearly as possible, between waves of discomfort. They assure me an ambulance is on the way, and I try to find a bit of relief in that. But then, Karen's voice pierces through the office, loud enough for everyone to hear. Seriously, an ambulance? I hope you're not planning to bill it to the company. We have budgets to consider, you know. I couldn't believe my ears. Was she seriously more worried about the company's budget than my health? I mean, yeah, she's entitled, but this was on another level. My coworkers start exchanging awkward looks, and I just wish the ground would swallow me up. Finally, the ambulance arrives, complete with the blaring sirens and flashing lights. I'm whisked away on a stretcher, feeling more embarrassed than ever. I look back at the office building, where Karen stands arms crossed, looking absolutely unimpressed. Like, come on, Karen. Could you at least pretend to care? At the hospital, I go through a series of tests, and it turns out I've got a nasty case of appendicitis. The doctor is quick to inform me that I need surgery like yesterday. So they wheel me into the OR, and I'm out like a light. Fast forward a few hours, and I wake up in a hospital room, groggy and sore but relieved that the pesky appendix is finally gone. My family and friends are there, but then, the nurse comes in and hands me my phone. I check my phone and find a voicemail from my boss, and I decide to listen to it. Hey there, heard you had your appendix removed. Pretty dramatic way to get out of the presentation, huh? Anyway, since you'll have some downtime, could you work on the presentation slides? We need them by tomorrow morning. Thanks. I stare at my phone in disbelief. Did she really just ask me to work on the presentation while I'm lying in a hospital bed recovering from surgery? You okay? My sister asks. Yeah, just Karen being Karen, I reply. After that crazy hospital ordeal with Karen, I decided enough was enough. It was time to take matters into my own hands and bring the higher-ups into the loop. So I hatched a plan. One that involved sending an email to none other than the CEO of the company. I mean, come on. If anyone needed to know about the toxic behavior going on in the office, it was the big boss. I drafted an email, keeping it polite but not holding back on the details. I explained the entire incident with Karen, from her refusal to call an ambulance to her audacious request for me to work on the presentation post-surgery. I attached screenshots of her texts and that lovely voicemail too, just to make sure the CEO got the full picture. The subject line was simple: concerns about managerial behavior, and off it went. A couple of days later, I'm back at my desk, trying to focus on work, when I get an email notification. It's from the CEO's office. My heart starts racing as I click it open, and there's no turning back now. The email thanked me for bringing the matter to their attention and requested a meeting. I walk into the CEO's office, kinda nervous. There's Karen, sitting across the fancy desk, looking as though she's been caught in a storm. The CEO says, "Thank you for coming in. I've read your email and reviewed the attached messages. I have to say, I'm quite disappointed in the behavior described here." CEO turns his attention towards Karen, who's suddenly looking anywhere but directly at him. "Karen, care to explain yourself?" She stammers. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. I was just under a lot of pressure with the presentation, and I didn't want the team to be disrupted." He tells her, "Pressure doesn't excuse treating your colleagues poorly, Karen. The way you handled this situation was unacceptable. Your behavior reflects poorly on the company, and I'm disappointed in your lack of empathy." Karen's face reddens, and she starts fidgeting with a pen. She can't seem to meet the CEO's gaze, and her attempts to justify her actions fall flat. Then he strikes, "Effective immediately, you'll be relieved of your managerial position. You'll be moved to a different department, and your new role will not involve any supervisory responsibilities." Karen mumbles something that might be an apology, and I watch as she leaves the CEO's office, her head hanging low. CEO then emphasizes that I should always feel comfortable speaking up if I encounter any further issues in the workplace. I nod, then walk out of his office after thanking him profusely. Turns out, sometimes entitled bosses do get a reality check. Just remember to always speak up. This story is so weird. When I, 27, female, was 20 years old, I was in a relationship FWB situation with a guy, now 40, male. It was messy, we were on and off for almost 5 years. He was always clear he wasn't ready for a relationship, and I was always clear I was madly in love with him. Every time I got tired of the situation and wanted to leave, somehow he convinced me to stay, because love is free, we have so much time together. He wasn't ready to commit. I asked for advice from my sister, now 42 female, and she gave me some crappy advice like making him compromise, leaving stuff at his place, and basically turning him into a boyfriend until it was too late for him to say no. I never managed to do that because I wanted him to love me as much as I loved him, not trap him. During the last night I spent at his place, he said he wanted to try something more serious with me, talked about some dates he planned, etc., only to ghost me forever. It was hard. This was the first person I loved and he treated me like crap. 6 months passed and my sister came home. We both lived with our parents, saying she wanted to introduce her brand new boyfriend. She had have ton of boyfriends, but she said this was the one. It was a dinner only with my parents at our home, so I was excluded and expected to just go out or chill in my room. The day came, and while they were dining I ordered a pizza. I came downstairs only to find the guy that I first was with 6 months prior dining with my parents and sister. I was shocked but paid for my pizza and went to my room again to cry. After dinner was over I confronted my sister in front of our parents and begged her to not be with him, to be loyal to me, her little sister. There was no way she didn't know who he was. I had shown her pictures of him, his social media, where he worked, and she even knew where he lived. They never met because he didn't want to meet my family and never introduced himself. But she knew who he was, and she excluded me from that dinner because she knew she said they met by chance after we stopped seeing each other. She knew how hard that rupture was. She knew how painful it was to not have even a closure. He just stopped replying, not even blocking me, just left me there wondering after 5 years. She knew that during those 6 months I was still hurting. I know how it was my fault. I was too naive and thought that if I stayed long enough, he would be ready for the relationship I wanted and would learn to love me. Stupid, I know. She defended herself, saying it was a coincidence, and chemistry was there. She loved him, and she wasn't going to lose the love of her life. This stuff only happens once in lifetime. When I was in my early 20s, I would believe that. However, now I know that there are 8 billion people in this world. There's no one love of your life. You can find the love of your life multiple times if you look for it. My parents sided with her and said I should get over it since we never have a real relationship. 1.5 years had passed. I've been excluded from multiple family gatherings because he would be around, and my family thinks I will bring negative vibes, since I'm still bitter about everything. I have no feelings for him, but I feel betrayed by my sisters and my parents. He is just a piece of trash in my eyes now. My sister is now 6 months pregnant. Due to her age, she had been extremely pampered by my parents. She still lives at home and is going to move with him maybe 2 months after the baby is born. Then they're going to marry. In my culture, it is normal that if a woman gives birth, moves back, or stays with her mom, so the mom will help with the baby for the first months. A week ago my sister's friends made a surprise baby shower. I happened to be at home. I tried to talk to them. I don't know why, maybe because my sister and I were too close before, and I'm sad we're no longer friends. But her friends acted like I wasn't there, and only replied to me with yes, no, or silence, as if I was the one that created this mess. Or I was a homewrecker. Or I tried to seduce my sister's man. I was planning to move already. I was saving money, etc. But after that I left immediately to a friend's house. I'm in the process of finding my own place. 2 days ago I received a call from my parents asking me to have a talk. I went to their house, and they informed me that the diamond earrings my grandma left me will be given to my sisters. Those earrings have been in my family for 4 generations, and before my grandma died, she said the earrings will be mine and my sister will receive a gold necklace. Grandma trusted my parents with the earrings. There was no will or anything. She just asked to give it to me when I was mature enough to take care of a family heirloom. Now my parents think since my sister is getting married first and is having grandma's first great-grandchild, my sister should have it. I'm really mad now. They're robbing me of something my grandma left to me. I don't think my parents are evil. I think they were too worried my sister wouldn't marry due to her age. Again, in my culture, a single woman in her 40s is something to worry for her family. And now that she's forming a family, they want to reward her with everything. But I was the closest to my grandma. She made it clear the earrings will be mine, not my sister's, not the first one to marry or have a child, but mine. After 2 years of being excluded in favor of my sisters, I gave the ultimatum to my parents: they give the earrings to me as my grandma intended, or I will cut them from my life forever. Not gonna lie, the idea of cutting my family off is too painful, but I feel they already made me, and still makes me so wrong. I don't want them in my life anymore. I feel a little shallow fighting over this, but those are the only things my granddad left that they are not entitled to. A few years ago, my mom ended up in jail for knowingly and intentionally violating a court order, which, as any person would guess, is illegal. She was fully aware that what she did was illegal, but according to her, it was everyone else's fault but hers. In her eyes, she was allowed to do whatever she wanted to do because she was a struggling single mother who just wanted to provide for her kids. If you read my last post, she didn't get 2 cents about me. Anyway, after her arrest, I had to go live with some rather distant relatives I hadn't met during my lifetime until then. Since my mom was really my only custodial figure, my relatives, a distant aunt and uncle whose daughter married into our family, were absolutely lovely people, and were happy to take me in until the thing with my mom blew over. It never did. After living with my mother for my whole life and dealing with her bullshit, I was so incredibly happy to be living with other people. They treated me like more of a daughter than my mom ever did, and honestly, they parented me more in a month than my mom had in the previous 3 years. Naturally, if my mom isn't making everyone miserable, she's not living. Even behind bars, she was tormenting me. Every day, she would call the landline at my aunt and uncle's house. She would call 4 times. Then, when no one answered, she would call my uncle's cell phone, twice. Then, when he didn't answer, she'd call my aunt's cell, twice. She did this from 8 to 9 in the morning, then 2 to 3 in the afternoon. Don't ask me how this woman got so many damn phone calls in literal jail. Why were we purposely dodging her calls? I'll tell you. At first we would answer the calls and try to entertain her. I would pick up, say, "Hello?" and receive nothing but endless screaming from the other end. "In case you haven't noticed, I am in jail," she would say, as if that was like, not to my own knowledge. That would be followed by some more screaming about how awful it is, and she doesn't have toothpaste or can't wear earrings in jail, like I'm supposed to do something about that. Then she would make her demands. "You need to get me out of here. You need to get me a lawyer, and you better do it fast. I don't have time for bullshit." At the time this was occurring, I was 15. I was busy with school most of the time. This was not a priority of mine. I said, "You get a public defender though." She went insane. "Can you not act stupid? I need more than an idiot straight out of law school. I need someone who will give a damn and actually help me." Okay, my stupid teenage self actually sat down and went through a white pages, calling attorneys and leaving voice messages. Most of them were confused as to why me, a child, was calling in for a grown-ass woman. Pretty much every attorney I could get to call me back either said they didn't take cases such as my mom's, they were busy with other cases, or just a flat no because they didn't want to. All very valid reasons. My mom didn't like hearing this. She accused me of lying about calling any attorneys, and that I was just making shit up so I didn't have to do anything. She asked why my aunt and uncle weren't helping me, and I just said IDK. But really, they couldn't stand my mom. They recognized she was abusing me, and just being a trashy childish person in general. So naturally, they decided to stay out of this mess, which I completely agree with. Soon enough, my mom took her demands a step further, telling me I needed to write to Dr. Phil, Nancy Grace, and Oprah. She said she needed her case to have national attention. I knew this was a fucking stupid idea when I heard it. Like any of these people give a shit about my idiot mom getting herself tossed in jail. I did it anyway. I never got any responses, which I expected. Mom didn't like that one either. This is where we get entitled, Mom. I was in a grocery store one day, and I saw one of my mom's old coworkers. My mom used to work at a thrift store that was affiliated with a women's charity organization that dealt with domestic violence and drug abuse. We said hello, and then he asked me, "Is your mom still in jail?" I said yes, and asked how he knew about that. It was never on the news. He then told me that my mother had sent him a 15-page handwritten letter asking the organization to start an individual charity fund just for her to cover her bail, attorney costs, and court fees. Additionally, she asked that the minimum goal be $1 million. This is not a joke, okay? My mom's dead ass tried to start a GoFundMe from behind bars. She didn't write into the local paper or maybe some personal friends. She had none. She wrote to an organization that helps women get into rehab programs and out of abusive marriages. This woman had the audacity to beg for money from a group that doesn't care about idiots in jail. Her argument: I'm a single mom, being a single mom sucks and it's hard. But this woman did nothing to ever change our financial situation. She didn't work for nearly a decade for no reason other than laziness. Briefly worked odd part-time jobs here and there, and then stopped working again. My jaw dropped to the floor when her coworker told me this. I was so embarrassed. Finally, one attorney I called before called me back and told me his rates, what he thought of the case, etc. I relayed this message to my mom, and what did she say? Why is he charging me? Did you tell him I'm a single mom? He should be taking my case for free, obviously. I don't have that kind of money. Both I and my aunt and uncle were sick of this shit, so finally we unhooked the landline and only turned on our cell phones after 3 p.m. I literally don't know how I am a product of my mom's genes. She's completely off her rocker. It all started on a warm summer afternoon. My wife Sarah was 8 months pregnant, and I could tell that the time was approaching. We had been preparing for this moment for a long time, reading books, attending prenatal classes, and setting up the nursery. But nothing could fully prepare us for the roller coaster ride of emotions that came with that one day. Sarah had been experiencing contractions all morning, and by mid-afternoon they were getting closer together. She calmly told me, "Honey, it's time. We need to go to the hospital." I felt both excited and nervous at the same time. This was it, the day we'd been eagerly waiting for. Without wasting a moment, I rushed to grab our pre-packed bags and the car keys. I could feel my heart racing as I imagined holding our newborn in my arms. As I hurried out the front door, I saw Karen, our next-door neighbor, standing in front of my car, her arms folded, and an annoyed expression on her face. Karen had been a source of frustration for months, constantly nitpicking about minor issues and generally making our lives difficult. Today of all days was the last time I wanted to deal with her antics. I approached her, trying to keep my cool. "Karen, please move your car. My wife is in labor, and we need to get to the hospital." Karen let out an exasperated sigh. "I know, but I need to talk to you about this issue. It's been driving me crazy, and I need it to be resolved." I could feel my patience fading. "Karen, it can wait. My wife is in labor, we need to go now." "Please move your car." She remained stubborn, crossing her arms. "No, I'm not moving my car until we talk about this. It's important to me." I couldn't believe the audacity of the situation. My wife was in labor, and Karen was making a stand over some trivial matter. I tried reasoning with her, explaining the urgency of our situation, but it was as if she had developed selective hearing. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, my father and brother, who were visiting, came running out of the house. They saw the commotion and quickly grasped the situation. My father, a calm and collected man, approached Karen with a soothing tone. "Ma'am, I understand you have an issue, but right now our priority is to get my son's wife to the hospital. Please let us pass." My brother, on the other hand, had a shorter fuse. He pleaded with Karen, "Please, ma'am, we don't have time for this. Move your car." Karen remained steadfast, ignoring our pleas. She was now holding up a growing crowd of curious bystanders, which only added to my anxiety. My brother, seeing the urgency of the situation, took matters into his own hands. He dashed to Karen's idling car, and without hesitation moved it out of the way, freeing up the path for our departure. I was grateful for my brother's quick thinking, but I was also furious with Karen for her entitled attitude during such a critical moment. We rushed Sarah into the car, and I drove like a madman to the hospital. Contractions were coming fast and strong, and Sarah was gripping the seat, trying to breathe through the pain. I kept stealing glances at her, praying we'd make it to the hospital in time. As we finally arrived at the hospital, Sarah was rushed into the labor and delivery unit. The medical staff took over, and I felt a profound sense of relief mixed with nervous anticipation. I couldn't believe that Karen's selfishness had threatened to delay our arrival at the hospital, potentially jeopardizing Sarah and the baby. Several hours later, our beautiful baby girl was born, healthy and perfect in every way. Sarah and I were overjoyed, and our initial anger at Karen's actions was momentarily forgotten in the bliss of parenthood. However, the drama with Karen was far from over. As we settled into our new life as parents, we received a call from my brother. It turns out that after we left for the hospital, Karen had decided to take matters into her own hands yet again. She had called the police and accused my brother of attempting to steal her car. My heart sank as I listened to my brother's story. It seemed that Karen was hell-bent on causing trouble, even after the chaos she had created earlier. My brother was taken to the police station, and we were left dealing with this new crisis just hours after the birth of our child. Fortunately, we had installed security cameras around our property a few months earlier. These cameras had captured the entire incident, from Karen blocking our car to my brother moving her vehicle out of the way. Armed with this evidence, we were confident that the truth would come to light. We quickly shared the footage with the police, who were shocked by Karen's behavior. They realized that she had not only put the life of a pregnant woman at risk, but had also made a false accusation against an innocent person. My brother was released without charges, and Karen was brought in for questioning. The security camera footage proved to be crucial in this situation. It was undeniable proof of Karen's unreasonable and dangerous behavior. The authorities decided to press charges against her for filing a false police report and obstructing a medical emergency. The legal proceedings that followed were stressful and time-consuming, but we were determined to see it through. We had a responsibility to our new family, and we couldn't let Karen's entitled behavior go unpunished. During the trial, Karen tried to play the victim, insisting that she had a right to confront us about the issue she had been complaining about. She even had the audacity to claim that she was unaware of Sarah's labor, despite the commotion and numerous witnesses. Thankfully, the security camera footage spoke louder than her words. In the end, Karen was found guilty of her charges. She was ordered to pay fines and restitution for the emotional distress she had caused. Additionally, she was placed on probation, with strict orders to undergo anger management counseling. It was a small victory for us, but it meant that Karen would be held accountable for her actions. From that day on, we never saw Karen again. She moved away, likely seeking refuge from the embarrassment and legal consequences of her actions. We were just grateful that we had installed those security cameras, which not only saved my brother from false accusations, but also helped the authorities to hold Karen accountable for her entitled and reckless behavior. Our daughter, who we named Lily, grew up healthy and happy. She became a constant source of joy in our lives. A reminder that even in the face of adversity, love and family could overcome the most challenging circumstances. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more captivating stories. Share your own experiences and opinions in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay tuned for more epic tales.